This episode of the podcast is brought to you by patreon.com/lightscameranonsense. Visit patreon.com/lightscameranonsense to help support your favorite new movie podcast. Now, let's roll that reel.
Into the future, Zach. I'm a time traveler. Didn't you know? I traveled into the future and I learned nothing of fashion.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Or style, you know. I don't know what's going on with me, and honestly, I don't know how to fix it. Okay, now let's go ahead and get the ball rolling.
This is a deeply, somewhat real moment.
It's every moment with me is a real moment, Zach. Haven't you realized?
I guess not. Now I do.
Pay more attention to the things that are going on around you, Zach. It's all falling apart. Oh, okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lights, Camera, Nonsense, where we give you all the latest movie magic you may have missed. I'm Nick, the Kung Fu Master Simmons.
Ooh, and I'm Zach Smith.
That is the laziest middle name I have ever heard.
We'll get there. Sheesh.
And on Saturday, April 17th, 2021, let's roll on the previews. But before we go into the previews, Zach, let's check with the weather. Rick Pimmons, go ahead and give us the weather.
Yeah, this is Rick Pimmons here in Fargo, North Dakota. Kind of wondering why you have me doing the weather up here when you're a podcast in Texas. Talking about movies and stuff. Why'd you hire me? Yeah, it's snowing. It's snowing up here. Cold. It's cold. That's the weather. But yeah, why'd you hire me?
What the hell was that all about?
Thanks, Rick. Stay warm out there. Stay toasty. Stay. What does he say? Stay healthy, my friends. No, stay thirsty. Stay thirsty.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Man.
I forgot. Not sponsored. Zach, what have you been watching?
So just a few things, nothing too crazy.
Well, don't get too amped up.
Yes, I'm so hyped. Yeah,
He drags you down and I bring you up. Just remember that, folks.
Is that how it works?
That's how it works.
I feel like there are many news segments on the docket where that is not the case.
You are the downer. You are the.
Fuck you. You're a downer.
You
bitch.
are the. You are the Benadryl, and I am the alcohol. Or no,
You're
wait,
both
that's a downer.
depressants.
Yeah, my bad. I'm the ecstasy.
Adderall?
You know, Cheese Whiz.
I guess if you get the same high.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's a whippet?
Yeah, that's
Can
what
you
I
do
mean.
a whippet? Can
Yeah,
you do a whippet with cheese whiz?
When it's empty, I think you can. Sure.
Anyway.
Don't do drugs.
So I've been watching a few things. Of course, I watched WrestleMania last weekend. Yes. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good WrestleMania. I definitely
Did all the people that you wanted to win their matches, their respective matches?
No.
Oh.
But I think. Well, I don't know. I think the people who should have won. Whether or not their faces are heels is a completely different discussion. But yeah, it was good quality. There were a couple missteps here and there. I think some of the matches could have been paced a little better, but that's neither here nor there. I don't think anyone's actively listening to this podcast to hear me go in depth on the.
We have never ever indicated that we are wrestling fans. I actually.
I've definitely indicated it for me.
I never knew how much of a wrestling fan you are until we talked about it after the podcast last week.
Yeah.
But you are just a heavy wrestle
guy,
wrestle head. Is that what they call him?
I don't watch it week to week most of the time. I occasionally, I think I mentioned this either last time or the time before that, but I've mostly been watching, if I watch a weekly show. It's Dynamite, AEW. But even then, I don't watch every week. I'll just tune in whenever
Fair enough.
I feel like I want to see some wrestling. And then, I'll watch the big shows for WWE. I'll watch
Or
WrestleMania
just
or
the big
Royal
show.
Rumble. I
That's
will
a
watch
wrestler.
him, except his show got canceled, so you can't watch it anymore.
Oh, that's
He
right.
had a show
I
on
forgot
Netflix
he had a
that got
sitcom. Oh, that's right.
I believe it was called The Big Show
Yeah.
or something like that.
And now we have The Rock's Little Rock. Is that what it's called?
Young Rock.
Young Rock.
believe,
No,
yes.
Little Rock is a city. My bad. Whoops.
Yes.
Sorry, Arkansas.
Yeah, it's on Peacock. I have it on the list, and I have not jumped on that train.
Well, you don't have to bring up Peacock again if you don't want it.
Well, I have to because I'm talking about wrestling, which is where I have to watch the fucking wrestling shit that I'm now obligated to watch for the next 4 months. With all that being said, I'm now deep into my documentary point, where like I've watched the pay-per-view, the old pay-per-views, and the new pay-per-view that I want to watch. So now I'm like diving into what I feel like is their most interesting offerings through the network, through Peacock now. So you like have your deep dives into like certain matches. Like the specific one I'm thinking of right now that I really enjoyed was a deep dive into Edge and Mick Foley had a WrestleMania 22 hardcore match, and the shit they fucking did is like nuts, like sticking barbed wire in your mouth and shit, and nails, of course. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm in the documentary portion of my wrestling binge, as it were. But other than that, I watched the newest episode, the penultimate episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Very cool. We don't have to go too much in depth with it. I know that we've been kind of doing it week to week with each episode.
Been doing like in-depth breakdowns week to week. So, I think we can probably save it for the wrap up next week when the final episode drops. But suffice it to say, still very good. Still very much enjoying it. And then the last thing I watched this week was book 4 of Infinity Train dropped.
That's right. I forgot to put that in my rundown. Shit.
Yeah.
But we can talk about that because I knew you would talk about that. Back of my head.
go.
I knew.
You knew, yeah. Yeah, let's not take any sort of internal criticism whatsoever.
I only do that every waking moment of my life, Zach. But if you want to get more in-depth knowledge about how we feel about Infinity Train as a whole for a series, you can go to this episode. I'll put it right there. I'll put the thumbnail right there. For audio listeners, you're fucked. I'm sorry. I don't have it in front of me. I can look it up. You go ahead and with the I'll fucking find the right number for it. Zach, what'd you think of season 4 of Infinity Train?
So yeah, for those who don't remember or don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't know. Infinity Train is the Cartoon Network / HBO Max animated show from Owen Dennis and Alexander Rob. Am I saying that right? Do you know?
I do not know. I don't have it in front of me.
Owen Dennis is the creator.
Yes.
And it basically centers around an interdimensional train with its seemingly unending amount of train cars that all have their own little pocket dimensions. So each train, kind of like if you ever saw the Adventure Time episode where Jake and Finn get stuck on a train and it's basically like a video game.
I was really trying to avoid all of this by giving them the link to the other episode, by the way.
Well, it is what it is. I don't know.
It's kind of hard to explain the premise of the show, but
I don't know. I feel like I was doing a pretty damn good job until I got interrupted there.
I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah. So many dimensions in an interdimensional train. And then each book or season has a different cast that is navigating the train to become better people. Are you like going through something over there?
No, hang on. My headphone stand got stuck. We're good. We're good.
You good?
I'm good. It's good. I got a long cord over here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. I'm
yes.
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So that's the basic rundown of Infinity Train. And then book 4 The most recent and for now final season of the show dropped on Thursday or Wednesday, I think.
Sometime last week or this week.
So yeah, this season centers around Mingy and no, what's his name? Do you remember?
I am already blanking. Feeling like a real ass here. Nope. Infinity Train.
I want to say Randall, but I don't think that's correct.
Gonna have to edit this out. Mingy and Ryan.
Ryan. I knew it was a R. Yeah, so they're the two subjects of the season. Two best friends who have grown up with each other since like early childhood. And yeah, they both get thrown onto the train at the same time, and they have to navigate it together. So I don't want to go through the season plot point by point through the plot. If you watched the other 3 seasons, this is very much still in the same vein of those previous seasons, and depending on how you felt about those earlier seasons and their subject matters, I think you could come away from the season with one of two ways. Either that being you're a little cool on it, just because it's comparatively it's a lighter season. What's going on over there?
I couldn't find the episode that we talked about it extensively when I first introduced it to you and you you binged it. Couldn't find it. So sorry, audio listeners, you're fucked.
It's around there somewhere.
It's around there somewhere. It was like
I guess it's pretty good. I had that breakdown, huh? Yeah, so depending on how you felt about the the heaviness of the last 3 seasons, the lighter tone of this one might either turn you off or you might enjoy it more, because it is definitely not as heavy as the previous seasons that came before it. Sometimes that works. Sometimes I think it's a little lacking, which it's kind of a shame for me to say. I don't like having to come with this or come to a discussion about the last season of the show and being like, I don't think it's as strong as it was previously. It's still good. I still enjoy my time, and we were actually talking about this last night because I finished it last night. Mm-hmm. I started and finished it last night.
It's very quick. It's 10 episodes of 11 minutes each.
Yeah. Same as the previous season. 11-minute episodes, 10 episodes total. So I started and finished in like 2 hours. It's basically a movie. So in that respect, it's not a time sink or anything. I at least enjoyed what was there. It's just I think the degree to which I felt that enjoyment was a little shallower than what came before. And so when we were discussing this, we actually discovered that during an AMA, Owen Dennis, again, the creator, basically just straight up said that this was definitely supposed to excuse me, I got a frog in my throat.
Help me! Get out! I gotta get out! Miss Piggy, help me!
What the hell was that?
It's Kermit the Frog, Zach.
No, I know. There's a line from the initial pitch for the Muppets that Jim Henson did, and it basically goes like, it's talking directly to the investors. It's like, you should invest in greenlight the show because you'll make a lot of money and we'll make a lot of money and we'll all be rich and it'll be amazing. And so it's like it goes into like, God will come down from the heavens and give us $40K or some shit like that. It's ridiculous. And then after all that, Kermit comes on screen. He's like, "What the hell was that?"
I kind of want to use that. I'm going to use that clip for something. It was like
Anyway,
that
back to-
deleted clip of Conan where the dog shoots Kermit and they had to get rid of it from that episode of the show.
I don't think I remember that.
It was like a running gag that Conan had like a dog that knew how to do tricks and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the dog's name is like Ginger. And anyway, Conan was like interviewing Kermit the Frog, and Kermit turns to the dog, is like, Ginger, no! And the dog just pulls up a handgun and shoots Kermit.
I've seen the one where Kermit like blows up a Nazi bunker or some shit.
That's great. There's a lot of great like behind the scenes.
Hey,
Kermit
by the
clips.
way, if you're sub to Disney Plus, entirety of the original Muppet Show, well, most of the original Muppet Show, give or take an episode or two, is up on Disney Plus.
Great.
Hashtag
Great
not
classic
sponsored
watch.
by Disney Plus.
Yes.
So anyway, back to Infinity Train. There was an AMA that Owen Dennis did, talking about how, basically confirming that yes, they specifically sent out to make this recent season a lighter tone, and he equated it to, in terms of like a genre, because all the previous books have been based on like there's tragedy, there's tragedy, romance, and then another one, and this one is comedy, he said. So definitely lighter, and also serving as a bit of a transitory or a transitional season to the next season, which was going to be a movie that's kind of a prequel. And I won't go too far into that because it's a little bit of a spoiler, and I don't want to sit here and recant all of the events of Infinity Train. But yeah, so unfortunately, it just seems kind of like they had... It's a bit of a case of calling your shots before getting the green light.
Yeah.
So historically, he had also said that there were going to be 8 or 9 episodes, or
Seasons,
8 or 9 seasons rather. Yeah, and we at this point we're not getting that. It's stopping at season 4. So, and they were informed of their cancellation like right at the end of doing their principal recording.
Yeah. Around December of last year.
So they were. Excuse me.
Nope. Sorry.
He's still in there. So they had pretty much done everything. You know, they had written everything as if they were gonna keep going after this. So I think a lot of its shortcomings are stemming from the fact that it does feel unfinished, and it's like I don't want to call it a filler season because there's good stuff in there, but it's essentially what it's acting like. And there's good questions being asked and statements being made. Yeah, my focus was a little off.
I was gonna say, he's just disappearing. He's dying.
Yeah, I'm disappearing into the void. Much like the other seasons, you're approaching subject matter that can be hard to address, you know, for people, whether that's grief or relationship issues or identity, that kind of stuff. So that's still in there, but, and I said this to you, it feels like, so the main focus of this season is communication.
Mm-hmm.
And for a majority of the season, you get a lot of what's wrong, why are you doing this? And the response is often nothing, I'm fine, let's just keep going. So you're not getting a whole lot of headway, and that is actually built into the plot. They really don't make any progress in terms of their number going down, which is, if you get to 0, that's how you get off the train.
Yeah. It just keeps going, like it goes down for a minute and then it goes right back up.
It'll go back up because they just keep making the same fucking mistake over and over again, which can be pretty frustrating. And because of that, you don't really get to the bottom of this is our, like, the viewer knows what their issue is before they accept it, which isn't abnormal, but it takes them a long time to get, in terms of the episode count, to get to them being like, okay, yeah, these are our issues. And then in that very same episode, everything's fixed and it's over. So I don't want to say it's rushed because I feel like it's very purposeful the way it's done here, and you can see that when you're looking at Owen Dennis's like responses to questions and stuff. Like they very clearly had a roadmap and like how they wanted to do this, and they did it the way they wanted to do it.
It's worst case scenario though, right? Is when you're so heavily invested in the production of this show, and being 4 seasons in, they've spent years developing this show and the characters and world and everything, even though it's an anthology series.
There is a overarching kind of narrative going on too, though.
So for that to be just cut off at the knees, even with like enough notice to still go into post-production after the recording and everything, it's like they got the news literally 4 months ago when everything is just about done. And I mean, it's hard to hear, and it's not only hard to hear for the creator, it's hard to hear for the audience who have been invested in the series thus far.
I mean, it's a fantastic show. You know,
we were worried about this when we had watched seasons 1 through 3 when they dropped on HBO Max, and both you and I binged it. We kept hearing rumors back and forth about whether or not the show was going to continue on.
It was canceled. Yeah, there was a lot of hearsay and vagueness surrounding whether or not it had been canceled. And then it was like they dropped the teaser trailer for book 4, and then like a week later they're like, yeah, this is going to be the last season. So it was a bit of a sour taste from that, at least. And again, I do want to stress that it is, for what it does, it is good. If you are going to be the weak link in the season total of Infinity Train, you're still a really good link. It's just those other ones are really fucking good. So it is a bit of a shame that, to me, and I know you feel similar, that it kind of feels like it's going out with a little bit of a whimper as opposed to a bang. Because it's not, like, it's clearly not finished. And just to kind of put it in perspective, this season is also, like, technically a prequel to the other 3. So, like, you're just kind of, like, getting some setup for later. The very small setup for the later seasons. That it's really not the focus at all. It's just kind of peppered in.
It's like a C story as opposed to the A story.
Yeah. So you also don't like get a whole lot of answers or anything like that. Or
it's those hints and teases that will never get payoff.
Yeah, there's character threads that are monumental through the last 3 seasons that are just kind of like done, even though they're not. So that's a bit of a bummer feeling.
I want to throw out some hope for you, Zach. I want to boost your mood there for a second.
Please do.
Grab a banana. make sure you don't get any cramps in between.
Oh, it's all over there.
It's too far. It's like come on.
Yeah.
So I have an inkling of a feeling. I have a very small spark of hope that this show will continue on. Whether it means it gets renewed through fan support, because in a post-Snyder Cut world, everything is possible. Like, that's a whole can of worms that we can crack open. But with fan support being a major driving force when it comes to renewals of properties, it's possible. When it comes to it being a show on HBO Max, continuing on as it is, that'd be perfect. Best case scenario. If it continues on as a comic book series or graphic novel series, would you be interested in finishing that?
I would, and unfortunately, I have at this point answers to all these points that you're raising.
Oh shit! Okay,
because
well
they are directly addressed in that AMA that Owen Dennis did.
I'll go ahead and say that I teed that up for you. So there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, so Owen Dennis has gone on record and said, as of now, granted, there could be other stuff going on behind the scenes that he's not at liberty to talk about. He does say that he is currently pitching like more adult-oriented sci-fi animated stuff, like a movie. I think he mentioned a R-rated sci-fi movie that he's been pitching.
Like in the universe of Infinity Train or something else?
No, completely separate.
I see.
So he is still working on stuff, but the caveat with that was the reason he's working on that stuff is because at this point it's pretty much dead. Yeah. He's still holding out hope, like you have impressed upon me to do, because he, like you said, you never know with fan. If it's going to be revived, it'll be revived via fan reaction and fan support, which is he said that. They have all the scripts written, or he specifically said that he has the script for season 5 / the movie written, and it's all ready to go. It would just need a green light. Unfortunately, Cartoon Network did not green light it, which, if you're unfamiliar, Cartoon Network is a subsidiary of Warner. Yeah. So that's why it's on that and HBO Max. They did not greenlight it because there was not a entry point for kids, they said. Which is kind of the line that Infinity Train has tread up to this point. That was their mission statement, was provide a kind of more teen-centered story where you're able to approach these more adult themes with, subtlety and grace, without going like all hog wild and like it sucks when people die and then there's like 30 people who die. How it's not like that. But
I don't understand.
Also not being kiddie, like so kiddie to where you're like looking at like a SpongeBob type show.
Right. I'm just gonna say, like, to frame it up next to its peers, the Adventure Times, the Steven Universes, the regular show. Granted, those are all...
regular show is not... Actually, I don't think... Yeah, none of those are active anymore. And technically, I think they still have like 1 or 2 Steven Universe movies.
So they have sequel series, or spin-off films, and that's what I'm saying is, like, if they can put those up and frame those as to be examples of why a film to help wrap up the story that they potentially started is possible and is successful, because I've heard nothing but good things about Adventure Time, Distant Lands, and Steven Universe Future. I mean, it's more, because that's the content that the audience was asking for. Even if you're finishing off one part of the story, you can continue on if the creative talent behind the property is still willing to continue. And that's what people are saying. We're basically at that point right before. So why not just do it?
And to his credit, he is definitely on board for more Infinity Train. Owen Dennis is. He's just kind of in this place where he said himself he's still grieving. It's like he and his team poured a lot of their heart and soul into this series, and to kind of, I think they also are feeling the fact that they're ending on a note that is
abrupt,
stuck in the middle. Yeah, it's abrupt.
When the last episode like ended and the credits started rolling, I was like, okay, it's not a cliffhanger. It's the end of that season, and it makes sense. Yeah. But at the same time, you're just kind of going, that's the last episode of this show.
There's not a whole lot of impact to it, I think, is what we're getting at. And then you mentioned comic books and stuff like that. As of right now, he has said that there's nothing in the works. Nothing has been licensed or anything like that.
That sucks.
So it's just kind of hoping that something comes around. And we've seen it happen. I think if it does come back, it'll be a couple years. We saw things like Samurai Jack and Clone Wars get renewed.
I just don't want to wait 8 years for this sequel.
I don't either. But you know what? If it's 8 years, that's better than never.
That's true.
So that's kind of where we're at, unfortunately. But yeah, it is good. Not as good as what came before it, unfortunately. But that is everything I watched, sir.
Well,
What did you watch?
Speaking of things that'll never happen, I watched the first episode of. You got to get back in focus, man. I'm losing you. I'm losing you.
Come on, come
back
on
to
back.
me. Come on.
What the fuck is happening?
I don't know.
It's that light, man.
You got to stop living in some sort of weird white void. Yeah. It's the wall and the light are literally forming into one.
Stupid Hosier.
Yeah. Wait, the band?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
The song. Sunlight. 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 Sunlight.
Gonna get demonetized, man. Come on.
We're not getting demonetized off of that.
Well, we're not even monetized, so that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway, I watched
We've
the first.
monetized you to demonetize you.
Yes, that was the plan all along. I watched the first episode of The Nevers, the Joss Whedon but not Joss Whedon anymore show on HBO Max. So, quick caveat: the reason why we're talking about it now and why you're like that episode came out like a week ago. Yeah, it came out on Sunday because HBO Max has this weird hard-on for releasing things on Sunday, even though that doesn't really work for any reviewer or publication in order to like.
Well, it works for publication because at this point they're all based on the internet anyway, so you can just post whenever.
Well, yeah, okay.
It doesn't work for a weekly podcast.
For weekly publications, I should say, or bi-weekly, because things usually go out Saturday night or Sunday night, and that's when those episodes are dropping.
We're having the same thing. You know, it's not just HBO Max; it's HBO as well, just in general. We were having the same. We were doing the same thing when Game of Thrones, the last season of Game of Thrones, was dropping.
It was a whole week later. Yeah. It was a pain in the ass. Well, guess what? We're doing it again, but with the Nevers. Fantastic. We kind of touched on how we were interested in the premise and the idea of it when we were talking about the Irregulars about 2 episodes ago. And I liked the idea around the Irregulars, although I haven't continued it because it didn't really latch on to me. And so many other shows are starting / continuing on. I'll get into those here in a minute. But yeah, set in a Victorian age where a certain event happens that causes a select few number of people to start gaining powers, and these people are called Touched.
Yeah.
And
it's basically like period piece X-Men.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
exactly that. Except it's more like immediate. It wasn't people born in; they have powers once they grow into it through the analogy of puberty. There is, there is like a segregation aspect to it. There is, I want to say like modern day lessons to be learned and like parallels as to how we're treating people. But all in all that to be said, that it's kind of unexpected how the first episode kind of leads you, because you start off with, it looks like it's that typical Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes type of setting where we're on cobblestones, everyone's riding in carriages, they're wearing big old top hats and
some bowlers.
Everybody is, hello, would you like some tea? That kind of thing. But then it leads into a chase, and we have an unlikely duo of these female protagonists who are trying to track down this little girl who is showing powers. And I immediately thought, of course, of X-Men, specifically Last Stand, the opening. I know, but like it's literally that same exact thing happens, and like the parents are like, is our child touched? She's speaking in tongues, but no, she's like speaking 10 different languages at once, which is cool.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah. And then I don't want to like go play by play, scene by scene, but it's a very interesting world, and I'm interested to see where it goes from here. I think the villain they have set up for right now is kind of this homicidal Jack the Ripper type character, and the reason they explain why she is like evil is because she saw the event that caused everyone else to get their powers, and no one believes her. And so, I mean, she was technically already being led to an insane asylum, but I think we'll get more details as the show goes on. The special effects were great. The acting was great. The dialogue was well written. I'm interested to see where it goes. I think this is another top tier HBO production that I'm really looking forward to seeing more of the universe in. Ever since Carnival Row has kind of been in limbo with the season 2's production and how COVID-19 and everything happened, I want more like fantasy period piece, fictional shows. So I'm intrigued. I'm excited, and I think people should check it out.
So you enjoyed this? Grabbed you more than the Irregulars did?
The Irregulars, yeah. While it's more grounded and there were like fantasy elements to it, I think just the world itself via one. I've only watched one episode of each, and I want to watch more of the Nevers than I do the Irregulars, and I think it's just based purely on acting and dialogue alone. I think it's much more quippy, and I liked the way that it was directed.
Nice.
As unfortunate as it is to say that.
Well, you say that, but Whedon was taken off the project.
He was, but he wrote, directed, produced all of the pilot episode, which is the first episode.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
That's why. Yeah, like you see his name 4 times in a row as soon as the credits roll.
I want to see who the
showrunner is now.
Who the woman who took over was. The Nevers, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked that it's set in a Victorian era. Like they literally give the exact date, but I want to say like late 19th century. Yeah, because it's right after the 1870s or so. Anyway, but that they have futuristic inventions, even though that has nothing to do with like people having superpowers. It's like it's just an alternate timeline, and you just kind of roll with it. Like they escape out of a carriage into like a fucking race car, a drag race car, and that's just you just go along with it. And I thought that was kind of cool and neat and interesting. There were some special effects that did kind of throw me, like the very large girl being very much just, I mean, they filmed her on a blue screen or a green screen and just kind of stretched her out, kind of.
Shift and then drag the corner.
Exactly. But I think that was me just kind of nitpicking or trying to find something to be upset about.
I get it. I felt there were similar aspects with the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier that I've talked about. You know, sometimes
every single episode we talk about Falcon
every single one, man. I don't know, and I will say there's a similar thing that happens with the penultimate episode too. So it's not just. I think it might just be the Falcon suit. I'm not sure if they like sped something up with it or something, but yeah, something about that effect that they have on
like the wings.
Suit. Yeah, with him flying around it.
Maybe it's the wire work that's throwing you.
Maybe I don't know. So the woman who replaced Whedon on production was Philippa Goslet.
Okay. Has she had any previous work where she's ran a show before?
Let's see.
Because like regardless, I'm going to continue watching the show, and I'll give you a quick update next week.
Co-wrote the screenplay for How to Talk to Girls at Parties.
Cool.
With John Cameron Mitchell, based on a Neil Gaiman short story.
Shorty.
Shorty. Also co-wrote the screenplay for 2018 film Mary Magdalene. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This is probably
this is her first foray into prestige television. Mm-hmm. So I've said it I think like 3 or 4 times already, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. This will be like one of my new mainline shows to look forward to, especially with a lot of the shows that I've been watching kind of getting towards the end. We have the last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier this coming Friday. And Invincible is also wrapping up, which is another show that I've been watching and keeping track of. Won't go too much into the weeds with it. I know I've been just bringing it up every week, but animation is hit or miss still. But the voice acting and the action are really great whenever the animation does what it's supposed to be doing. Yeah. I'm interested to see where the story goes. Again, I haven't read any of the comics. I don't know where it's going. I know that it has diverted a little bit from the comics, but yeah, I'm really intrigued, and I still think the voice cast is outstanding. Justin Roiland shows up in the most recent episode as like a frat boy douche, and I'm like, that is obviously Rick. Like, he burps in the middle of a sentence too. So.
Oh God. Yeah, you got Steven Yeun in there too.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, I didn't even realize. And then finally, we actually watched this together. We watched Mortal Kombat 1. And which is why I bring up my middle name. You know,
that was my middle name, dude.
Oh, yours
do you
was
remember the
I thought you were doing another The Room reference, man.
I mean,
you
that's basically what it is. It's basically The Room laugh.
Christopher Lambert.
He does Raiden.
Highlander, yeah. It's technically Raiden. It's Raiden,
yes.
And they spell it Rayden, and I hate it. Because like they get the costumes right, and they get some of the moves right, and even the dialogue, but for some reason they can't spell one of the main fucking characters' names.
There's multiple scenes where he's talking. He doesn't do anything in this fucking movie.
No.
There's scenes where he's talking to the main characters, and he'll be like super serious and like, this will be the end of the world if it comes to this, and then take a beat and then just go.
He was just having fun with it. You know what's messed up is that when they were going to make a third film based on the reviews of Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which I also watched alone, I didn't want to subject you to that.
You say that, but you did subject me to another movie after we watched Mortal Kombat.
We did watch. We could just go into it because this is all kind of going. I'm going to morph all of this together. We watched Street Fighter.
Movie. Dear viewer / listener, do you want to know the reason why we decided to watch Street Fighter the movie?
Because it was recommended.
This man, who I'm talking to right now, said to me with a straight fucking face that Street Fighter the movie was better than the original Mortal Kombat movie.
I don't think I said that in earnest.
You absolutely did, because that's why we watched it.
I think I said it like I remember it being better than the Mortal Kombat movie, and on like. People will. I know I'm going to be in the minority for this argument, but like if you compare both of them together, they're both not good movies. We can both agree that, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think Mortal Kombat at max is serviceable for what it is, which is a dumb PG-13 version of an extremely violent video game meant for kids to sell toys and a marketing ploy.
Okay, well then you can hold Annihilation to the exact same standard.
Except that's really, really bad.
Okay, but that's the same. That's what I'm saying, is that like all three of these movies are all bad for different reasons, right? So Mortal Kombat 1, the 94, I think, was when the first one came out.
Yeah.
Is bad because it was cheesy and corny, and people weren't really expecting it. It was of that time where like special effects weren't there. And so they had to do a lot of like weird wire work and stuff.
Scorpion,
the hand thing,
the chain. That's like a weird plant thing now.
And then as soon as it headbutts a tree, it explodes and it's dead. Yeah. So we can all like look back at that and just think, oh, this is great B movie trash. And then you get to Street Fighter, and the reason Street Fighter the movie is not great is because it's nothing like the games. They took
it's
the
also
names.
Not a very good movie. I think that's where we're hitting our difference. I agree. I think the original Mortal Kombat movie is B movie trash, but in a good way. I think Street Fighter the movie is just trash, which makes it good.
Can I
like there's points that make it good, but there's also points where that movie is just straight up fucking boring.
I will agree that
it's an hour and 40 minutes, and it feels like it's 3 hours and 50 minutes.
I was falling asleep when we were watching it, but to be fair, I was also drunk. So that's kind of a thing. And also because of my sleep schedule, I wake up very early most days. Mortal Kombat Annihilation, here's the thing, Zach. Here's the kicker.
I'm not defending Annihilation.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm not saying that you are. Mortal Kombat Annihilation has better fight choreography than Mortal Kombat 1. Like, the fight scenes are actually better choreographed. even though like the special effects and like the people morphing into 3-headed Hydra dragons it's the worst. The special effects are terrible. The actual action choreography is better.
I mean, you say that, but you were literally the person saying when we were watching Mortal Kombat 1, this fight choreography is actually like legit.
I know, but like I'm saying, even with my statement there, the stuff in Annihilation was better just overall because one, there were
and
more
my
fights.
argument is, I don't think like the fights alone would be the thing to save a fucking movie.
No, but I will say that a lot of the characters that they introduced in this movie are just introduced because they had just been introduced into Mortal Kombat 3, the video game that had just come out that year.
Again, another marketing ploy. I mean, that's all three of these movies is just sell the thing.
I think Street Fighter the movie was for Street Fighter 2 Turbo or something like that. It was one of the games. It was one of either 1 or 2.
It started development off the back of the original Street Fighter 2.
Okay. So.
And then I think Turbo came out like a month.
There's like 7 different versions of Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of different versions of Street Fighter 2.
So I know I'm right. I'm at least in the window, but to the wall. But basically, all I'm saying is that Mortal Kombat Annihilation is not as bad as people remember.
That is a hell of a hill to die on.
It's not a hill that I'm willing to die on.
I also like how your initial argument went from Street Fighter the movie is not as bad as
I don't remember half of it. I was asleep for half of it.
Oh God, I wish I was asleep for half of it.
I can't believe you committed to it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
when you saw me like this, even when I was like slightly waking up, if you had changed it to a different movie, I would have gone, yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. Like it's. Whatever.
I just wanted.
I was halfway through the damn thing. I might as well. I don't like the last time I had watched Street Fighter the movie because I didn't like it the first time I had seen it.
Yeah.
As a fucking like 8-year-old or some shit.
8-year-old when the movie came out?
Yeah.
VHS or whatever.
Well, no, not when it came out. Just when I saw it. You know, like, or maybe I was 6. I don't know. I saw it young, and even then, I didn't particularly like it. So, me watching it now is just going back and like, oh yeah, that's not good. Yeah, I will say there are some bangers in the Street Fighter movie. You know, there's some good lines. There was
the M. Bison speech that I wanted to watch, and I ended up missing it because I fell asleep. And like that was literally like 70% of the reason why I wanted to watch that movie, and also because I was like, we had already watched Mortal Kombat. We might as well watch another video game movie.
You had started like with the Sharknado 5 or something.
No, it was Mega Shark versus Robo Shark. I'll have you know.
While I was in the restroom or some shit, and I came out and I was like, oh, that's an interesting pick. And you hovered over. Hey, by the way, all this was on Peacock. It all comes back to Peacock.
I hate it. You jump off one feather, you get onto another. You know, you're on the big ass of the.
So you have quality ass programming on there, like Giga
we couldn't literally. We could not find any New Line Cinema anywhere besides Peacock. I think that's what it all boils down to. Which sucks. We should just...
No. Wait, was Armageddon New Line? Because Armageddon was on HBO Max.
Annihilation?
Annihilation.
Annihilation is on HBO Max, I should say. Because that's how I watched it. Yeah. So, weird. I don't know. It's probably like they bought the rights for that specific movie. All of that just to say that I'm really excited for the reboot to come out this coming Friday.
It's got a low bar to clear.
On HBO Max and in theaters. I do get fully vaxxed on Wednesday, but I think I'm just going to watch it at home.
Yeah.
But I am excited. I still have yet to watch or listen to the theme for the new movie.
I don't listen to the new theme either. Hey, you know what's still a banger? The fucking Mortal Kombat.
It's an assault on the ears and the senses.
And it's meant to be.
I think it's to get you amped up and excited for something that you really shouldn't be amped up or excited for.
Yeah. For a movie called Mortal Kombat / movie based on a game called Mortal Kombat, you would expect the theme.
That's the title.
Yeah, movie based on a game. Mortal Kombat, you would expect that the theme would combat you
Yeah.
in some manner. And it does it in many manners.
It does. It brings you back to a time when, raves were a regular Friday evening for a lot of us. A lot of glow sticks.
Cascada was, on repeat.
You say Cascada?
Cascade.
Cascade? Yeah.
No.
Didn't go to a lot of parties, did you?
No, but I watched a bunch of YouTube at a quick time AMVs back in the day.
A lot of
anime media video, or anime music video rather.
Yes.
For those who don't know,
I think it's just animated music videos because they did that for regular cartoons as well.
I'm gonna attribute it to anime because that's what I watched.
Well, that is how a lot of people watched anime back in the day.
Linkin Park mashup with stills of Vegeta.
In my skin. Yeah.
Or the scars remind me that the past is real, and it's like fucking Ichigo and Bleach or some shit. It's like all rain
at
scenes.
480p in like the smallest square, and it's so sad because you pull it up now on YouTube and it reformats to the old format of YouTube, and it's like a small ass square. I feel bad.
Goldmine.
Yeah.
AMVs are goldmine of entertainment.
But yeah. What was the other thing that I watched? My goodness.
What's that about?
That's not the name of the thing. Got him. Again, I'm only reading the room from you.
Yeah, the only other thing that I found as funny about that performance was him just randomly showing up behind them.
Yeah.
And it's never like he's just standing there. He's always like seductive.
He's always perched.
Yeah, he's like draped his knee up.
He's like a part of an album cover for like a Metallica or something. Yeah.
It's fucking fantastic.
Okay,
I love that movie so much.
If we wanted to rate each of the Mortal Kombat movies based on the Raiden in them, I absolutely have to give it to the first one because James Remar. He's a better actor, but the script and everything about the things that they do to his character. First off, they cut off his long, luscious locks, which is a wig, first of all, and just like a short, bleached white hair. Yeah. And then they get rid of his white robes and they give him like a black vest, and it's dumb. And he starts doing flips. He's like, I don't have my powers anymore, so I guess I'm just not gonna wear my straw hat and shoot lightning and everything.
Which is so dumb because it's like, but you didn't do anything in the first movie anyway.
Yeah, you just showed up and had lightning eyes, and that's it.
Here's this portal. Enjoy.
And also, they killed replacement Johnny Cage in the first 5 seconds of the movie.
Yeah, so. The first scene of the movie is Johnny Cage getting murked.
So I'm sure that actor is so happy that he got that role.
Yeah. Well, hey, payday, right?
I remember the show that I watched. And then we could wrap up. So after watching Mortal Kombat, I'm like, I want another kung fu thing.
Yeah.
And so I had it queued up. I had Into the Badlands queued up. And I was going to rewatch that because I remember I didn't finish the show. It was in the midst of, I believe, season 3. And then I dropped it because I was watching so many other things. And then I think a family member died or something.
Canceled? Or did it just end, or was it canceled?
I believe it was canceled, but they wrapped up the story. But I still I didn't finish the story.
Right.
So it's like reading a book until the last chapter and then you just throw the book away.
I'm done with it now.
Well, your wife would be really sad if that happened. She just all of a sudden stopped.
She's done that, probably not like the last chapter of a book or anything, but
with books that she enjoyed.
Oh no, not with.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you frame it that way, Anyway, long story short, I was gonna watch Into the Badlands, and I'm like, wait, this is a bit of a time sink. I don't know about this. And then I remember I watched a clip of a show that was on Cinemax and was actually, I've got the thing queued up here. It was Cinemax final series before ceasing production of original programming.
Oh, wow.
Which I didn't know was the thing. Apparently,
I didn't know that was the thing either.
Cinemax.
That they stopped doing original programming.
Apparently, it's not just porn anymore, folks. Cinemax. Not just porn.
Skinamax?
Yeah, that was the nickname. That was what I was alluding to.
Yeah, I know. But
Okay.
no, illusions are too not on the nose.
Illusions.
This is I am a man who enjoys his Tommy Wiseau and Raiden going.
You just like short, succinct laughs.
Yes, absolutely.
Except you don't do one. You should pivot to that. Just do the.
I don't think I could pull it off. It takes a real like fucking like God to pull that off.
Like Tommy Wiseau.
Yes, exactly.
I hate that guy. Anyway, I started watching Warrior instead.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's an American martial arts crime drama television series that premiered in 2019 on Cinemax and was based on an original concept and treatment by Bruce Lee. This is a story written by Bruce Lee. And it's all about a Chinese immigrant who travels to San Francisco to find his sister and then gets wrapped up in gang activities. And basically, the main character uses a lot of the same moves that Bruce Lee did in his films.
Oh, okay.
And so a lot of the fight choreography is very, very good.
Reminiscent.
Yes, it's very reminiscent of his films. There's even a scene where he's fighting a bunch of dudes in a brothel, and then he sits down on the not body because the guy's just knocked out, but he sits down on a guy and he's like does the brush on his nose and everything. He's like ready for round 2. It's so good. The fight choreography, Fortnite choreography. The fight choreography is fantastic, and I'm actually interested in where the story goes because it's all about like post Civil War, how a lot of what people are dealing with, how they freed the slaves and now they're wondering what's going to be what they're going to do next, how people are treated. It deals with segregation and racism, gang violence, and I'm really interested to see where it goes. I'm bringing up Warrior for another reason because I found out that one of the actors in the show, Joe Taslim, well known for The Raid, or The Night Comes for Us, or Fate of the Furious, or the Mortal Kombat reboot. He's in the Mortal Kombat reboot. He's Sub-Zero.
I will not rest until I watch the Fast and the Furious movies.
I'm just saying, I brought him up because he is a minor character. I actually didn't know that he spoke English all that well until I watched this first episode of Warrior.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's fantastic. Because what they actually do is they start off the show with, and I love when they do this in movies and TV, they start off the show with them speaking in native Cantonese and native Mandarin.
Oh, that's neat, yeah.
And then there's a scene where the main character, played by Andrew Koji, who I have not seen in anything that I know of, where he's talking to like a recruitment officer for this gang, and they're speaking in Cantonese, and then it kind of like does this spin around where it translates from Chinese into English, and then they just start talking in English, which from an accessibility standpoint I think is great. I think I would have been fine with reading subtitles if I had to, but I think it's even better for when it comes to like just all right, I don't need to have to read subtitles and pay attention to what the story is doing, because over time that would be a little bit cumbersome. But anyway, great story, great set design, great acting, great fight choreography. I think people should check it out. It's on HBO Max now, and it actually just got renewed for a 3rd season.
Oh wow, nice.
Just very recently. So check it out. And yeah,
very cool.
Cool kung fu show. I will continue to watch that and get amped up for Mortal Kombat. And I was this close to buying Mortal Kombat 11. I think I might do that today.
Yeah, it's on sale pretty much everywhere.
It's on sale
because they're like
they're amping up for
for the movie drop.
Yep. I love it when movies based off of video games come out, because you know that there's going to be a sale corresponding to that movie, so that's pretty great. Yeah,
or they'll release a new game and be like, we did this in 5 months, hope it works.
Yeah. Licensed games, great. That would be a great transition into talking about how we're going to start doing that, where we are playing through video games based off of movie properties, Zach. We're going to start off with...
allowing a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, I figured fuck it. Because who cares?
Yeah, I mean, I say that every day.
You wake up every morning, you look in the mirror, you brush your teeth, and you're like, fuck it, you know? That's me every morning anyway. Yeah, so Zach, you and I are going to, just every once in a while, we'll release a video here on our YouTube channel, Lights, Camera, Nonsense. If you want to find us, lightscameranonsense.com. I think the first video we're going to do is Alien Isolation, which is very highly rated.
Yes.
Zach, have you ever played Alien Isolation?
I have never laid a single finger on Alien Isolation.
Oh, I'm so excited. So stoked.
Yeah, you got the anniversary for the first film coming up here in a couple weeks.
Yep. Plus Alien Day coming out.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
4/26. So look forward to that. And yeah, subscribe so that you don't miss a video for that. Zach,
yeah, subscribe so you don't miss me getting mauled by a fucking...
You're going to poop your pants. You're going to be so scared.
I'm looking forward to it. I've never told you about the time where I went over to someone's house and played Amnesia for the first time, and I at one point literally chucked the mouse across the room.
I am so excited now. I didn't know that was a possibility, and now I'm even more amped up. And you should be too. So make sure you hit the bell icon if you're watching us on YouTube, so that you get notified. Zach, enough of that. If you wanna see us play through a video game based off of a movie, just leave a message down below, and we will consider it.
Yeah.
Zach,
think about it hard.
If people wanted to contact us and let us know what they think about our reviews for Mortal Kombat Annihilation and Street Fighter the movie, and why they should be highly lauded in the Parthenon of video game based movies.
Parthenon? Or
Pantheon. I mean Pantheon. I'm not tired. You're tired. Where would they go?
You could email us either at lightscameranonsense@gmail.com or
head on over to patreon.com/lightscameranonsense and just leave a message down the video below.
That one.
Yeah. Last quick thing. A message from our... Oh, God, you... What is happening?
I'm trying to get it to focus.
You can't... This is not going to help. Your little Ace Ventura thing. It
will.
The audio listeners love that.
Do not go in there.
Great quote. Thank you. Out of all of them. Quick side sponsor excerpt we will put right here. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by our merch store and our latest merch installment, Zachzilla vs. King Nick. Now available by following the link in the description. Order yours today. Now, back to you guys. But this has been Lights, Camera, Nonsense, keeping you updated despite our best efforts, Zach. Despite our many, many efforts.
We do try very hard.
Make sure to tune in every week for all the latest news, reviews, and what else, Zach?
How do you do?
How do you do?
How do you do?
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Bye.